Okay, I guess we'll call to order this meeting. Who's gonna do the roll call? Because Shane's not.
I'll do it.
Oh, okay.
Shane F.T. Black, Chairman.
Here.
Jeffrey A. Moots, Vice Chairman.
Here.
Dr. Ricky Hernandez, Member.
Here.
Janet H. King, Member.
She'll be joining us later.
Donna Munoz Canata, Member. Jojo Perez, Member.
Here.
Dr. Christiana Whitman, Member.
Here.
Can we confirm we have a quorum? How many?
There's 5.
All right, looks like all notices were given out. As attached to the package there. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. I looked over these. I personally had one issue, which was, I think I requested for the number of cases proceeding to trial. It says proceeding to court.
Okay.
On that.
You want to win-loss that too?
Yeah. No, I just wanted that specifically because if you're figuring out numbers of cases with attorneys, there's a difference between a case that goes to trial and one that bleeds out in terms of workload.
You want that for quarter or for?
Yeah, no, that's something we're gonna have to work on.
It's just a stat. I think he wants to report it out.
Yeah,
Just
Every board meeting will say how many we had in X amount of time.
that's the only change. Does anybody else have any issues with the minutes from last time? Second? Do we have a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye. So, moving on. See, next item, old business, updated board of trustees bylaws. Last time I recalled, Donna had some other issues she wanted to go through specifically. You remember that, Steve?
Yes, and so we did provide the clean copy with the proposed changes. I think her amendments were regarding, remote, appearance at hearings, right?
Yeah.
So. Do you want to go over by each section or?
Yeah, I think we have a few that weren't here. Well, maybe just Jeff, right?
I've read them, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that, the clean copy, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I sat down.
Okay.
But I don't know who made the amendments if you want to confirm it.
Well, I think Donna wanted the virtual one. I think that was highlighted in red.
Yes.
In mine, it's, on page 3. That's what we're talking about, the virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah, vote virtually. Right, yeah, that's how, for me, it's over.
Yeah, that's consistent with, long law. If you're appearing remotely, you'll be a part of the quorum and you'll be able to vote. The only 2 times that you cannot, participate remotely is if it's an executive session or, those kind of, executive session or due process hearings.
Okay.
So and I think we put that somewhere else in the.
All right, well. I don't have any, you got, yeah.
I just wanted to note that the comments I had from the prior meeting has been included.
Yeah.
We're going to get right.
Okay.
And so that would allow the board to decide what day of the month or when the next meeting is
Right.
rather than the 4th.
Right.
Tuesday of every month.
Do I have a motion to approve these amendments as presented?
Moved to adopt the new board of trustee bylaws as presented in the packet. Of the business.
Second? All in favor?
Uh-uh.
Aye. Motion passes. Anything on? New business reports and statistics. I'll leave that to you guys.
Okay. So our CFO will be presenting our fiscal year 2025-2026.
First one, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Board of Trustees, and I would like to, before I present the FY 25 year-end financials, I would like to give you an update on the FY 24 audit. I believe it will be, EY will be issuing it at the end of this week, if not early next week. So with that, our numbers still remains at total revenues for PDSC and APV. We collected 7.7 million, and spending in FY 24 for some reason it's 8.8. So we incurred a negative net change in fund balance at the time. With the FY 23 beginning fund balance of 2.8, that gives us an ending fund balance of 1.7 million as of FY 2024. So definitely we'll be getting the copy of the audited financials sometime this month.
Is that released as part of the overall government law, or is it just our
Overall,
overall?
yeah, we are part of the general fund. Yeah, absolutely. And for FY 2025, this is a draft financial statement. EY is not ready to start the audit for FY 25 as proposing FY 24. So based on FY 25 total collected revenues, 9.6 million, 1.9 for APD, PDSC 7.6, and expenditures, APD incurred 1.7 million, PDSC 7.1. So total expenditures is at 8.8. So we're tracking a surplus of about 760,000. Let me just here. There's a slight change in here because the draft that was consolidated on the AGC, which is the ARPA. It's showing up 299,000 in expenditures, but this is ARPA. We have the money already, so it's just a matter of presenting an offset of contribution of 299,133. So that would change the ending fund balance reduced by, oh, I mean, up to much it's an offset. So yeah, that will be updated before providing the final PB and financial to EY. And also, since FY 25 and prior, these are being done through Excel, a lot of worksheets. So trying to reconcile some of the balance sheet accounts, making sure that I have the basis of those numbers. And just to let everyone know, I did set up our new financial we're tracking pretty well based on the detailed report that I have provided. This next first quarter, with the update. Yeah, with the balance sheet, I'm just gonna update you with the account balances. Like I said, I'm still reconciling the various balance sheet accounts, making sure they are in line. So with that, account balances, For APV, cash account, 290,000 as of December 31st. CLC, operating account, at 167,000 involved. And CLC, this is a grant account, we're looking at 5,500 balance in there. And AGC, this is also operating and grant account, there will balance of 15,000 even do. And of course, PDSC operating account, we have 3.1 million. Just to let everyone know, we have been receiving PAP funding. We don't have, we haven't opened the PAP account yet, so that funds is commingled with PDSC right now. Yeah. And once we open the PAP account, then we will have a separate or a clean financial report for each division.
Yeah, so, because right now we have like CLC has one, EJC has one, and I think the TAC probably has one, and so we're gonna just have one for CLC. Just like we have one for PDSC, one for APD, CLC, then TAP will be, will.
What's the back?
Looks like the third.
Also, just to give you guys a head up, we're planning on investing PDSC's surplus as recommended by OPA. Because they have noticed, it's a quite huge amount is just sitting in our account. I mean, yeah, it should be earning interest that we can, utilize towards good purpose and good cost.
And so that's something we'll be submitting probably after the budget, just to create a morale welfare training programs that's authorized under Title Chapter 4. Yes, or
Yeah.
but we have to work out the parameters of that, and so there's like lots of non-appropriated ones that we can go in there. That's one of those. One, hopefully, some board members might not want to get their checks and want to donate it. And then also, like, there's some other issues like our health savings account, flexible spending account. If they don't use it, they lose it. It gets paid back to the corporation, and the corporation is not allowed to give it to the individual employee. So, but if we have a policy like it goes into like a fund that benefits all the employees, apparently that's fine. So it would be like a fund of non-appropriated funds. And maybe the thing, there's other stuff too, like when our employees serve as jurors, they get a check that they have to write it over to us, and do we deposit those or we just don't cash it?
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I noticed, they're not depositing the jurors fee that we collect from the staff. I mean, we should, that's, we pay the employees with leave to do their duties, and they return, they give us the check. And yes, I'm reconciling that, making sure that we account for it.
Yeah, I think the past
Those
years
are-
let them go scale David, and so the court benefits, but hopefully we can put in this.
It's a fairly rare occurrence, so I mean, we don't have a ton of people going into jury service every day.
Hopefully they just.
Get knocked out.
Yeah, I know John, I know Steve. Right.
And this investment that we're planning, it needs board resolution, so that's something that we need to present to you guys. And we're looking at investing in Fidelity government money market, which the current yield is at 3.51%. And of course, we're kind of choosing this because the liquidity of funds is available within 24 hours in case we need. And for the statement of revenue expenditures and changes in fund balance, I provided the details, but I'll recap it with summary here. APV collected 465,716 as of December 31st, spent 442. So there is revenue over expense excess of about 22,000. CLC collected 219,800. Expended 222,000. Just tracking a small negative of 2,000. AGC, we collected 75,000 in the previous month's grant billing. Spent 18,500. So we have we're tracking 57,000 things. CAP, we collected all the allotments from general fund, 372,867. And to date, we only spent 34,000. So we're receiving more attorneys billing. So that's what we're gonna be working on as they come. PDSC, we collected 1.6 million 78,000. This includes the first the allotment from general fund and other sources, interest, and from waste care reimbursement and things like that. We spent 1.5 million 82,000. So we're tracking a positive 96,773 as of December 31st. And just to give you an update for January, we received all the allotments for January. So once bank statement is available, I'll be updating the financial. Pretty much it, unless you have any question.
But altogether, we're spending what, about 23% or
Yeah.
25%?
Yeah, I prepared a summary here. As you noted in the report, there's a detailed summary there, of the budget to actual. We have two columns, by budget, law and the board approved, budget. As of December 31st, we're tracking at, for overall 30% spending over the budget law, and about 18% expenditures over board approved budget. This is pretty good.
And the target was 25%, right?
Through 5 years, yeah, our
For the first quarter. Okay.
Questions? Trustee.
Actually, I had a question. I'm just going through, I guess the packet, but how much would be affected with anything in regards to how the federal budget is being passed? We don't get any grants or revenues that is affected by the federal government?
Well, the grants that we received are stop grant and the senior
Okay.
citizen grant, and we haven't received a word, right?
No, well, this stop grant, you're the newest, we did get cut slightly because they also funded Guam Legal.
Okay.
So we're receiving 25,000 previously, but we got cut down to 16,000 something, and then they gave a share to Guam Legal. Because Guam Legal was affected by their vote.
But nothing with, because I know Friday's the budget, and for the federal government, unless they pass something, but nothing detrimental, I guess, anticipation.
Nothing detrimental. We're funded through the year, under the elder justice. So that, you know, we have the 262 that's funded for this fiscal year, so it ends in September.
Okay.
But they've already dispersed that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's reimbursed costs, so it's billed and then they reimburse the cost, but it's this 262.
Trustee Perez, our federal granting doesn't affect our main office, public defender. It doesn't affect APD, the alternate public defender. So our criminal practice doesn't rely on federal granting at all.
And we don't have a direct grant, so we are sub-grantee through public health and
The Bureau of Women's
stop.
the stop.
Yeah, it's
Used to be governor's federal outreach, but it's now Bureau of Women.
To,
It moved to Bureau of Women's.
oh,
Affairs.
Bureau of Women.
Maybe something that we can look at if there are any grants there, that is available to, public defender. That's something that we will be looking at.
Burn grant.
Yeah, eventually we'll get more. We got burn jag grant money once, which was a miracle, but we'll apply for that again in the future. Usually that's law enforcement, use all that.
I have a question about, I was curious, you mentioned fiscal 24, we ran over budget, but we ate into the continuing appropriations, is that what you mentioned?
I mean, definitely, that we're covered by,
Fund balance.
cumulative losses, yes.
Okay. And, you mentioned the spend rate was about the same as last fiscal 25, 24 and 25 are pretty flat. You said it was 20,
Yeah, 25, we're up, in 25, by about, 500,000. And in 26, we're tracking another 500. So I don't know what happened in 24, if, they reduced the budget.
Yeah, and we were also using ARPA funds to pay for civil law, the other justice. Center.
okay, so there was some,
Yeah.
there's some fun that came. And then for the fund balance, that currently is just in checking account. That's why you're looking to maybe put into something that's students.
Yes, yes, I am taking, non-bearing, interest account, yeah.
Is there any, you mentioned the Fidelity money market account, is there some kind of procurement that we have to go through for that, or is it something that you?
Yeah, if we're gonna look at, other, possible sources, and then we might, go into, an RFP.
Okay. Yeah, and thanks for the financials, it's really very helpful. And I wasn't sure if this was done in the past, but, this is, it's on QuickBooks, so
Pretty much,
this is quite, if you built this from scratch, it's quite,
yeah, I mean,
hard to work.
because I was gonna continue with the Excel, it's making me crazy.
Yeah, I know,
It's
it's
just
not fun.
crazy. So, yeah. We decided to come
No
up.
problem with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
that's great.
that's good.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody on Zoom? Nothing? Okay, so moving on, what about, what are we talking about next? The other statistics?
Okay, these are our pages. It's page 36 of the packet. These are stats that we had provided to prior boards. To see if you guys wanted us to continue those. One is specifically the active caseload. And it also shows how many opened that month and closed that month as well. The conflict. So this is the kind of, and I think we have an up-to-date version of it.
We have a change right on page 42.
Yeah, on page 42. So I think these were just provided as illustrative examples of the stats we provided in the past. For example, the one on page 37. Can you go to the next page, 37?
Oh, 37?
These were stats that were requested by the presiding, and it just, obviously showed he had like the heaviest case of but it just demonstrates, the different types of pre-trial motions we file, whether it's okay. It's actually a really interesting stat, because it, show that how many people we actually file bail motions on. And so that's something that's gonna be, required in every case, right, a bail motion.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we could provide if the board still wants. The next page is electronic monitoring report. This one we provide, even though the courts is probably more thorough than ours, but it's a good representation of how many times, the electronic monitoring back at the court was really pushing, so they wanted to make sure we apply for it every chance we get.
I like what's here. The one thing was that trial thing that I mentioned, because part of what we're looking at here is caseloads for individual attorneys. We want to make sure that one person's not getting 30 trials and the other one,
Yeah,
you know.
I can tell you what our rough stats are for the fiscal year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're basically in the main office at 8 trials, since October.
Uh-huh.
Our newest attorney, Remy Orozco, he had 2, he's involved in 1 currently, so 3 for him. Bill Bischoff had 2, Mary Hill had 1, Christian Spatansky 1, Chad Inoki 1. I mean, the public defender has plenty of cases, but we're kind of in a spot where we're statistically, I think, the least likely to go to trial, just because if we have cases that don't represent a conflict case, there's somebody who maybe is a first offender, there's somebody who doesn't have as many contacts with other criminally, justice involved people or the criminal justice system in general. So I can tell you that I do a lot fewer trials here than I did when I was at APD, where they have those conflict cases where it's going to be somebody who has more contact with the criminal justice system and is probably more likely to go to trial. And I think that goes even more so for the private attorney panel. Some of those guys are constantly in trial, and they kind of end up with clients that are the most likely to go because they have the longest rap sheet, they have the most involvement with the criminal justice system. They're probably less likely to get a favorable offer. They're more likely to go.
I guess that segues into APD. As far as, I don't even know, we're in trial so much, at least once a month we're in trial. And we have a board, that says, these are set for trial next week, and sometimes it's 3, 4, 5 cases. And a lot of them we do settle at the last minute, but like I just got out of a 7-week trial and that was not gonna plead. So it just depends. Murder cases most likely go to trial. Major CSC cases go to trial. Some drug cases go to trial, the intent to deliver cases. So I will get the stat I can get you the stat for what happened in fiscal year 2025. Well, I can get you the stat, but as far as every time we do have a board meeting, we'll have a case stat of which one, how many have gone to trial. But I know that Pete Santos and Tyler have both gone to trial, at least I can name 5 each, in the last 6 months. So we go to trial a lot.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where a lot of those should
I know.
have to go to trial. So
That's
right
the
now,
other part of this,
Yeah.
the path is, under a lot of pressure because eventually, they're also going to trial a lot.
Right.
But PDSC does keep a lot of their own cases, like last year they had 2 homicide cases and, this year
Yeah.
APD had 1, and of course they won all 3 of them. So, they are keeping their fair share of cases, but it's just that if the government doesn't offer like a plea, just has your feet straight up to everything. And so, we haven't been able to keep those stats because there's claims there's 40 cases where they won, but really they lose, I would say, all the major charges, and
Right.
you often get a conviction for a misdemeanor or
Sure.
or a 3rd-degree felony when they were trying to get a life sentence. So,
That's true.
but they still count those as victories over there. So,
That was your homicide, right?
Yeah, our homicide, they put out AG Moylan put out a press release that they won. And the comment from the paper to Mr. Brazil, who is the lead counsel in it, they said, do you wanna do a press release? And he's like, I'm not gonna do a press release, but I will answer to that. It's disingenuous for them to say that they won a murder case when we got it down to the lowest aggravated assault charge.
That we would have pled to.
it's really
And not
hard
waste
to.
money on taxpayer money.
If we really want to measure success, I would probably say 100% of the time, they get less jail time than the government offered before trial.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, if they really want to do that, but, we're not going to spend thousands on them. So,
I
Sure.
think one of the issues that board member Moots brought up before the hearing was how many, before the meeting was, how many cases actually can you settle in a year for a misdemeanor or a felony? And the stat for that is low because the offer letters we get plead to everything. and then talk, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
wrong.
Some of our attorneys have gotten plea to everything and except the maximum sentence.
Yeah, that's both, that's true.
Once in a while, we get that.
Well, that's how they tell the judges, oh, we gave them an offer, Your Honor, the offer to plead to everything.
But then after that, what happens at pre-trial conference?
They want to settle. It depends.
I mean, they've been, that's quicker.
Yeah.
So I think we need to do a better job of tracking. like,
Yeah, I think
dismissals
yeah,
and-
we'll have to do that.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Chairman, sorry, so, just to kind of go off Chairman's point, I think, it's interesting to see that dynamic between case assignments and then going to trial, because I think that's important. But for example, like, APD, right?
Mhm.
It seems like you're dividing, and obviously there's a specialty, I think, what's going on.
Well, what
So,
it is that
like
there's,
misdemeanors is like Shinju, right? And then a lot of the others are with the other terms. So
It's-
is misdemeanors going to trial more often than felonies and
No.
vice versa? I don't know, but,
so we do it by, so I'm an attorney for, most of my attorneys are attorney fours. Tyler Scott's an attorney 3. Bryson is an attorney 4. So the certain level of attorney, you
Mhm.
can't get higher than like if you are an attorney 2 or 3, you can't get a first-degree
yeah,
felony.
it makes
That's why.
sense. Yeah. Okay.
So, Ms. Flynn does most of our juvenile and misdemeanor cases.
Got it.
And so I am trying to bring up, Mr. Scott, because he's doing second, and I'm trying to get him moved up to 4, so he can do first degree felony, because we're getting all the first degree, we get a lot of the first degree.
But the AG's office, I guess, or even other cases, doesn't focus one way or the other. It's pretty across the board.
I'm not sure.
Going
how
to
they run it.
trial.
It's
Okay.
whoever's available, I
Got it.
think.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of the
Okay.
misdemeanors are masquerading as felonies. So a lot, because they end up getting convicted of the
I
misdemeanors.
see.
So there's just a lot of overcharging. So like last year, they charged out 950 cases. It sounds like a lot, but when, we subtract all the ones that get dismissed and all the ones that go to trial and get convicted of misdemeanors, and it really is serious overcharge. And the problem is it drives up the cost. For example, like, we go to trial and they get convicted of like a low degree felony, they're still gonna appeal it. So there are more appeals being filed just because that.
Sure.
I can do the numbers, but do you have any questions on this? We'll add the case of going to trial.
Yeah,
I have a dumb one, just sorry.
No, it's fine.
No
No dumb questions here.
No, because I'm just curious, you said the attorney 4, is that like it's limited to first degree felony?
No,
An internal thing, or is that?
no, that's,
experience thing?
that's what is it called? Like you can't expect a first year lawyer to do it for felony. So it's
Based on
a,
experience.
can't even talk, yeah. So that's why.
Yeah, I mean, historically, everyone got the same caseload regardless of whether you were 1 or 4, but that's not really best practice or fair to our clients, so it's not.
I just wondering.
Yeah, it is. I know that Jeff was at APD, he was like really vigilant about that.
I was wondering if it was an internal thing here, or if that standard is also at the.
Oh, I think it's like,
No, the AGs don't care. They
They
take, their prosecutors for the most part are people with prosecutorial experience,
Exactly.
which is why you get the crap that you get.
yeah, because they don't have an ineffective assistance of counsel claims to worry about. And so,
They don't care about ethics.
but in some cases, it could result in a new trial, right? Okay. So we're very careful about that.
I was just curious.
Thank you.
And that's
One of them
common.
question.
That's common across the country, in public sector systems. In bigger systems, they actually have a lot. And they'll work people up, like, Clyde London's, Clyde started in traffic. And misdemeanors, once he got into general felonies, then they moved him back down to traffic to supervise. And he goes up there.
Yeah, that's how we're pretty much making
Yeah.
that PD and APD where if you're a 1, you won't really have a felony in, and you might second share felonies.
Yeah, we'll
before.
put someone lower with someone
For
higher.
experience.
So the distribution is mainly about experience, like there any, because certain people go to certain courts and they can be at that kind of case or something like that. Does that happen too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I cover a lot of the drug cases, so I get a lot of drug cases.
Yeah,
And I don't, like the mental health cases I'll get.
yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of those intent to deliver, like if you're smoking meth and you share with your wife,
That's
they'll charge you with
intentional.
intent to deliver. You know, so,
Distribution.
yeah.
You get a cup and you pass it down. Distribution.
And then I actually have one more question. Do you notice the trend, at least with this current AG, the appeals? I know you mentioned, maybe there is more appeals happening. I see on the APD side at least, the Pete Sanchez has 2 and then Bryson had 1. But is that something that is a jump than previously? And I know appeal process probably take a lot longer for these attorneys who are
Some
doing
of
their
those,
own.
some of those stats are, if they have like an interlock, I know Mr. Brazil filed an interlock appeal on one of the decisions of the lower court.
Yeah.
So did, Pete. As far as doing the appeals, sometimes, most of the time when you take it to trial and you file the appeal, we won't stay on it as the appellate would.
I see.
If you look historically,
Yeah.
more than half of all the appeals are from home Supreme Court criminal cases.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, civil cases that appeal each year. So if they do 24 cases, I wouldn't be surprised if like 15 or 16 of them are criminal cases. So the difference is, congratulations to you guys, I've been keeping track, and of the criminal cases that have been going up to appeal, the defense has won about half of them, which is like rare.
It is very rare.
Usually you win like 1 in 10.
Wow.
Even the ones that there haven't been, numeric wins, there's been a standard set or language that
Yeah.
actually ends up being helpful to
Yeah.
us, so, I mean, or like it's. you
But
know,
it's so bad, what the court usually does is, like in the stuff I used to do, oh yeah, like in federal court, oh yeah, the judge was completely wrong, everything was wrong. But we find that that was harm.
Exactly.
And the AG here is so bad that they can't even find it, what they're doing is harmless.
I know, that's true.
So you guys are doing a good job keeping them on their toes.
Yeah, and so and also we have to withdraw sometimes if we do the trial because there might be some ineffective assistance of counsel claims that the appellate counsel wants to raise. And I mean, you could raise it on yourself, but it's a little difficult. And
We're doing good on the PAP or the
yeah, we have,
appellate panel,
Yeah, we-
right? We got a good amount of people on that.
it's like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Yeah.
I think that there's been quite a few extra applications since we met last.
Oh, that's
There's
great.
3 or 4 people that are now on that weren't back in November, December when we met last November.
For a while, it was done 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, felony one, but I think the appellate panels always have at least 5 or 6.
The juveniles still not good though.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it helps that CLC is picking up a lot of the PINS cases, so there's like, they seem to be getting divided between CLC, my and legal and bond legal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, last year we had 15, just because we started getting appointments towards the tail end. This year we're already at 9, in the GL appointments, so you can see we're already kind of ahead of our stats.
You want to talk to also?
Yeah, so we're revamping our stats, based on program. We're still fixing, we still gotta fix our charts, because initially, I was gonna give you guys last year's stats, but I'll include it in the next, board minute meeting so that you guys can see, our stats from the previous year. We're kind of either going towards being over the stats from last year, but we serviced over 1,000 clients or services last year. So for the Civil Law Center itself, which is our indigent, the reason I'm breaking the stats down is because our civil law also services 55 to 59 in elder justice, because our EJC grant only lets us provide services for 60 and over. But Guam seniors definitions is 55, so we supplement that service through our general fund, which is the civil law indigent. So we're gonna break those stats down so you can see the difference between just indigent services and then those who are servicing under our elder justice that don't qualify for the federal, but will fall under our general fund. But we serviced last year, we opened about 192 cases, closed 242, and there were 218 services provided just in the civil. In the elder justice last year, we opened 562 cases. closed 558 and serviced 854, provided 854 services to the individuals that applied. We had 79 TAC, which is our protective order cases last year. And then we had 15 guardian ad litem appointments. And then our referral programs is our West Care Veterans Program. That's referral based, so they send us the referral. And then we bill them for the amount, we bill them the hourly amount that we contracted with them on. So that's only by referral. So we're trying to break down our stats to make it program oriented, so you can see that the different programs and the services that are being provided in the programs, you can see that there are some that have zero. Those are the programs we're currently trying to build, which is our pro se litigant form bank. We're working the court right now. I'm currently on the committee. We're doing pro se litigant form bank for the court. So what we're going to do is we're going to mirror the pro se forms at our office, so we can also help them with guidance at least if they don't qualify for services, or if it's a services that we currently don't provide. We're trying to capture what services Guam Legal provides, what services Micronesian Legal provides, so that we can make sure that, at least the pro se litigant form bank will help with services that aren't being provided by any of the three nonprofit or, our office. But we also have, we're also looking at, we developed the right of sepulchre firms, but we're also looking at developing a public administrator program that's gonna handle the probate of unclaimed individuals, unclaimed dead persons. So they'll be able to look, do a more thorough search of heirs. That program's just being built. We're gonna need to work on legislation. So we have a committee that I'm working with that we're looking at legislation and what would best suit Guam's needs. And then also looking at an alternative, almost like an alternative dispute resolution program, but it's more like a pre-filing diversion. So that if there are cases like custody or divorce, we can refer them to mediation before the filing to see if they can settle, and then we can file it as an uncontested and help them. But those programs are not yet built. Those are our future programs. And then we also provided our outreach statistics. And that basically is, I'm revamping that as well. We do mobile clinics, and our mobile clinics, we also provide services. So what we'll do is we'll give a breakdown of how much services were provided outside of the office at the mobile clinic. So we actually go into the community and do services out there. I have a team that goes out and provides the services in the community instead of in our office. So our office is open, but we're also out in the community at the same time. And so we'll break this down so you can see the statistics, because I think their last outreach, they think they did 7 services outside of the office in a span of like 3 hours. And that's basically our.
There's also this other thing called transfer on death leave.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So when we first got the LAS grant, right, we were doing all the low hanging fruit, because it was like a, 500 person wait list. So we were doing wills, power of attorneys, durable power of attorneys, and the living wills. And so, I don't know, was it last year
Yeah, it passed last year.
we actually helped them pass that. It's kind of cool. It's how bank accounts get transferred by designated beneficiary or security interest stocks and bonds and life insurance. So we're doing that with we're doing it now with real property, and then we followed a national uniform act. And so now it'll just avoid probate completely, and avoids all the transfer tax. There's a lot of benefits of it.
Yeah.
And so now we're able to help seniors rather than going through probate, they're able to decide who gets the property, and they own it until they pass away, and they can of course change their beneficiary anytime until they.
That's the question I have on that. What's the difference between that and doing a life estate?
So the
Yes.
life estate, the title transfers, it just gives that remainder to
So
the
you-
person that gets
You
has a
don't
life
have that
estate.
future interest, like for
Correct.
banks, right?
Yeah.
You
Correct.
go to a bank, not on you, or the beneficiary, right? Just stays with the parents. I mean, the transfer on death deed.
The transfer and death deed, title remains with
Yeah.
the owner
Yeah, but
until death
You filed the transfer on death deed.
at
So
land
At some
management.
point in time, they're gonna create future interest on it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. I don't
Yeah,
think there's gonna end
The
up being a
mortgage still
huge
goes
difference.
with the.
I actually had a question on regards to that, because I had an inquiry, at least on my practice, not my practice, but in the legal assistance we do. The beneficiaries, do they have to be known? do they have to know that they've been selected as a beneficiary?
I think
Like
they
there's no
get,
notification process on that?
yeah, there's a notification process
Okay.
on the law, so,
Okay.
yeah, so we draft the document, it's
Yeah.
filed at land management, and they can, but it indicates that they don't have, it could be revoked, they don't have any interest until the individual passes.
Just, right, yeah, I probably.
It's probably gonna happen in
Yeah.
the future, people figure out a way to monetize the fact that they're beneficiaries.
Yeah, so,
But yeah, it is revocable up until that.
yeah,
But
It is,
once-
yeah.
Once it's filed, people are gonna know who the interest.
that's true.
And it's actually, I mean, it's actually now really popular. You can see our numbers actually jumped to like 26 already.
Yeah, I noticed that. on the-
Yeah, and there's a lot, I mean, that's the number one, when Baz was out and doing outreach, that's the number one thing that he's stuck talking about. It's like, when they get to that topic, that's the only topic they're talking about.
Yeah,
Um,
it'll pay off in the long run, because every village has those abandoned homes that
Yeah,
are stuck in probate that no one's doing. So this would avoid that, and, right now, like when your parents or grandparents die, you just, if someone doesn't pay for her water, it gets disconnected, and then you can't really reconnect it, so, then they end up getting abandoned, so this will hopefully helps.
yeah, and then we're also gonna generate a report, civil legal needs report that we've been conducting surveys on, so that the board can see, the legal needs of the community that are high priority, and low priority. We're hoping to get that. I just did a shorter version of the survey where it just goes, into their income, so we can make sure it's qualified individuals, and what services they need. And that will be, provided to you guys.
Yeah, and hopefully Guam Legal and Micronesia, you can keep getting federal grants, but if that ever dries up, then they'll be the only game in town, with, but keep our fingers crossed.
Where do we leave off? We Look around a little bit.
Oh, I forgot about the private attorney panel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Page 44. Yeah, so it seems like we picked up 129 cases in the first quarter. So a lot of these billings haven't even come in yet. We've only really paid out how much? So far, pretty about 27,000. So, but we anticipate more. I know someone, right, Rochelle had her trial in October. So I don't know if that was paid yet, but I know that it's probably compiling. So we're anticipating it, obviously going up. I know that the court, a lot of the attorneys have been spending their time trying to catch up with their prior billings, because they had to bill the court all prior work, before December 31st. So apparently court, received about 800,000 in invoices for the first quarter, but we don't know how many of that are for like 2023 or 2024 cases, so, but at least they got rid of that liability. So going forward, we believe that the 1.4 million that they provided for the private attorney panel, I mean, it should be sufficient, at least for this year. But it didn't really include expert witness money, so we fortunately been using some other funds to pay for experts, so they had a expert witness right in your murder trial that I thought was really beneficial. And so I think, more attorneys are gonna be requesting experts, especially forensic experts. And so, but we'll see, we'll track that. I mean, we always have a client service trust fund that we can try to see if they'll help.
What about the investigators? Have people been requesting those?
There's been some, they should be required in every case with someone's confined, so we're trying to encourage the private attorney panel to. But anytime they ask, we assign somebody. We have a panel of 4 members right now. I know Quorum Legal uses one of their staffers as an investigator, so they also go when they have work too.
Rochelle Canto did request an investigator in that trial. She did, didn't she?
Yeah, it was like really last minute, and we were able to accommodate her, and I think it went out to photos.
Yep. And one of the cases-
And they want
She
to.
did. Oh, okay.
People just have not used to having that available to them for a long time. They just have to know that it's there.
You can go to trial without an investigator,
Right.
because then you're like,
Well, they've been making do for years, right? So, we skip anything else? Statistics that, we've gone around a little bit.
But we'll add that trial cases and also number of dismissals, right? If the dismissals, we could probably
That's
get
all
off
good to
our, our case management system will give us the dismissals, but the trials, I think because, every case has a jury selection trial on advocates, but not all of them go through, they end up getting let out, so. That we might have to keep manually, but our staff will get that together.
So any discussion for 2027? Did we talk about that already? Budget proposal? That's in here.
So, okay, so usually we submit it in May, right? But we got a letter saying it's due the end of March, so we're hoping Liddy will have something out in a way.
Yeah, that's what, we're working on, this staff are already, putting together the staffing pattern to complete. So hopefully by.
You said it was due in March, so I said,
Or
No, it's their
Yeah,
Overall.
statutory deadline, it's
Yeah.
just whatever they ask.
legislature.
But it usually matches the court's May first.
yeah, so we just, OFP sent us a letter, so.
Yeah, I think it's because, election year, so. They want it
yeah,
very.
they're all stressing about getting budget done.
But we should have something with second week of, we'll definitely send it out there. Earlier than our ordinary packet, so you guys get a chance to review it. But we've already met, I don't know if we're gonna be, I think the only increases will be like, you guys want a social worker? And are you guys gonna get?
I'm not good at that.
But it's really gonna be minimal income. We don't know what the agencies are gonna get cut, but we're shooting for like, the very least, a rollover budget and the continuing use appropriation authority, then we'll be fine. Just the project training panel, that's the real question mark, because we won't really know how much they fully cost until. Yeah.
The court gave us an idea of that 800,000, how much of it was the first quarters of the year amount, and how much of it was just old. Because that may be a big help.
Okay, we'll reach out to them.
I mean, if they can, I don't know how they.
They should be able to.
able to.
Yeah.
But I suspect a big chunk of it was old. Some of the firms are pretty insistent on getting their stuff in, because they know it's gonna take a while. It used to take a while for the court to pay,
Yeah,
so like in Cumberland and Cook, we filed it immediately, and then just anticipated that it was gonna. We'll find out.
So we're through all that. Any public discussion, anything else anybody wants to bring up? Nope. Well, seems like our business is done here. We have a motion to adjourn. Second.
sorry, about the next meeting date, are you guys?
Oh, sorry, we forgot, we've changed the rules. Before we take a vote on that, then, what day should we have our next meeting?
Tuesday. March 30th? When's it?
Oh, end of good March.
March 30th.
When you get that?
The month, beginning of March. I'll get back the weekend before March 2nd, I think is the Monday.
When was your requested
I
budget?
get back like the
Oh, end of March.
31st or the 1st. Right, it's not 31st, it's February.
February 28th, so you get back like the first or second.
Yeah,
You want it first week of March or something like that, or second?
that's,
Second would be preferable would be, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be gone from the 27th to the 6th. Come back in on that Saturday.
March 10th.
Is that gonna give us enough time for you guys to do what you need to do?
Oh, definitely. It's actually perfect, so we'll have more time to get a final, and then we'll have time after you guys approve it to get all the final language. and-
March 10th.
Um. Hold on. Yeah, we move for March 10th. Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, next meeting's on March 10th, same time. There was already a motion and second to adjourn, so.
Movement.
Yeah. All in favor? Aye. So adjourn.